Hi everyone, welcome to today's video. We're going to learn about the life of Donald Trump. This will be a simple and easy to understand biography, perfect for practicing your English listening. Let's get started. Donald Trump's life begins in Queens, New York City, where he was born on June 14th, 1946, into a large and energetic household. His full name at birth was Donald John Trump, and he grew up as the fourth child in a family that valued discipline, hard work, and ambition. His father, Fred Trump, was a well-known real estate developer who built middle-class housing across different parts of New York. His mother, Mary Ann MacLeod Trump, originally came from Scotland and brought with her a warm personality and strong family values. Donald grew up with four siblings: Mary Ann, Fred Jr., Elizabeth, and Robert, each playing a different role in shaping the family's dynamic. Although the Trumps were financially comfortable, Donald's upbringing wasn't all luxury. His parents believed their children should be taught responsibility early in life. They wanted them to understand effort, discipline, and the value of working for success rather than simply inheriting IT as a young boy. Donald was energetic, confident, and sometimes a bit difficult to control. Because of his active nature, his parents believed a more structured environment would help guide him. After attending Q4 school for several years, they enrolled him in the New York Military Academy when he was a teenager. This school was known for strict routines, discipline, and leadership training. While the decision may have seemed harsh at the time, Donald later said that the academy helped shape his character, teaching him how to take charge, follow schedules, and present himself with confidence. He did well academically and even became involved in sports and leadership roles, experiences that strengthened his competitive nature. After high school, Donald attended Fordham University in New York for 2 years. However, he soon transferred to the Wharton School of the University of Pennsylvania, one of the country's top business institutions. In 1968, he graduated with a degree in economics, a field he would later use to build his real estate empire. His education gave him a foundation in business thinking, but his real training came when he joined his father's organization shortly afterward. The Trump family business focused mostly on housing developments, and Donald began by learning the details of construction, finance, renovation, and management. Under his father's guidance, Donald began to understand how real estate worked from the inside out. But he wanted more than to continue the family tradition. He wanted to create projects that were bigger, louder, and more recognizable. Donald's early years in the business shaped his belief that success required boldness and risk-taking. This mindset would define his career for decades. He worked on expanding the company's operations, thinking beyond regular housing projects and imagining buildings that would stand out in major cities. Even at this early stage of his life, people around him noticed Trump's strong personality. He carried himself with confidence and always aimed high, often pushing ideas that others might have thought were too ambitious. His early exposure to business, combined with his disciplined school years and competitive spirit, helped build the foundation for the dramatic and highly public life he would go on to live. From his childhood and early adulthood, Donald Trump learned 3 things he never forgot: think big, work hard, and always believe that success is possible, even when others doubt you. Now that you know how Donald Trump grew up and what shaped his early character, let's move into the next stage of his life, where he starts turning bold ideas into real-life achievements. Stay with me for part 2. After completing his education and joining his father's business, Donald Trump quickly began to explore opportunities that could turn him into a major figure in the world of real estate. Although his father had already built a respected company focused mostly on middle-income housing, Donald wanted to step into projects that were larger, more luxurious, and more visible. His first major step came in the 1970s when he became involved in transforming an old and failing building called the Commodore Hotel. At that time, the hotel was not performing well, and many people believed it had no future. But Donald saw potential where others saw problems. He pushed for a partnership between the Trump Organization and the Hyatt Corporation, and together they revitalized the building. After a complete makeover, the hotel reopened as the Grand Hyatt, a modern and attractive space that became a symbol of Donald Trump's ability to take risks and turn them into success. This project instantly raised his reputation and placed him in the spotlight in New York City's business world. Encouraged by this achievement, Donald decided to continue building his name through even bigger and more impressive projects. In 1983, he introduced what would become one of the most famous landmarks in the world, Trump Tower. Located on Fifth Avenue, one of the most expensive and prestigious streets in New York, the building was designed with luxury in mind. It featured gleaming glass windows, elegant interiors, and a unique combination of high-end apartments, offices, and retail stores. Trump Tower was more than just a building. It was a statement. People visiting New York could not miss the massive skyscraper with Trump displayed boldly. It became a symbol of wealth, ambition, and success, helping Donald Trump establish himself as one of the most well-known developers in the city. As Donald's fame grew, he began expanding beyond New York. He invested in casinos and hotels in Atlantic City, a popular entertainment destination known for its beaches and gambling industry. His most notable project, there was the Trump Taj Mahal, which opened in 1990. At the time, it was the largest casino in the world and filled with extravagant decorations, huge gaming floors, and luxurious rooms. The project attracted a lot of attention and made headlines across the country. Even though the casino later faced financial challenges, the scale and boldness of the project demonstrated Donald Trump's willingness to push boundaries and attempt things others might avoid. During the 1980s and 1990s, Donald's life was not only centered around business. His public image grew through television appearances, magazine covers, and interviews. His style, confidence, and outspoken personality made him a recognizable figure far beyond the world of real estate. He became known as a symbol of success, someone who always aimed for more and loved being in the public eye. In the early 2000s, this public recognition led him to one of his biggest pop culture moments, the launch of the reality TV show The Apprentice in 2004. The show featured contestants competing in business-related challenges, and Donald Trump served as the host, evaluating their performance with his now famous phrase, "You're fired." This catchphrase became iconic, adding a new layer to his image and making him familiar to millions of viewers around the world. At the same time, Donald Trump continued expanding his brand globally. The Trump Organization moved beyond buildings and casinos, adding golf courses, luxury hotels, and branded properties in various countries. His name became a worldwide symbol associated with wealth and prestige. By the 2000s, Trump was no longer just a businessman. He was a brand, a television personality, and someone whose influence extended into many industries. Now that we've seen Donald Trump rise to fame through business and media, let's explore the next major chapter: how he moved from being a businessman to stepping onto the world's biggest political stage. Stay tuned for part 3. As Donald Trump's business and media presence continued to grow, another major interest began taking shape in his life: politics. For many years, Trump had shared his opinions on national issues, government decisions, and the country's direction. He gave interviews, wrote books, and appeared on television talking about leadership, the economy, and America's role in the world. While he had thought about running for office several times before, he never officially took the step. That changed in 2015 when he stood before the world and announced that he was running for president of the United States. His campaign slogan, "Make America Great Again" quickly became one of the most recognizable phrases in modern political history. Millions of people connected with his message, believing that Trump's business background made him the right person to fix issues like unemployment, economic decline, and border security. His campaign style was unlike traditional politicians. Trump spoke directly, confidently, and sometimes controversially. Whether people agreed with him or not, he always attracted attention. He promised to bring jobs back to the United States, strengthen the economy, and take a tough stance on illegal immigration. One of his main ideas was building a stronger border wall between the U.S. and Mexico. He also spoke openly about trade deals that he believed were unfair to Americans. His way of speaking, which felt more like a conversation than a political speech, helped him connect with voters who felt ignored by the government. At the same time, his style also created strong disagreements among people who disagreed with his approach. But no matter what, Donald Trump stayed in the center of national discussions. The 2016 election became one of the most surprising in American history. Trump ran against Hillary Clinton, a well-known political figure who had served as Secretary of State. Most experts expected Clinton to win, but Trump focused on winning key states and appealing to voters who felt frustrated with politics. When the results were announced, Trump won the Electoral College and became the 45th President of the United States. His victory shocked the world and marked the beginning of a presidency that would be remembered for major changes, strong opinions, and continuous public debate. During his presidency, Trump focused heavily on the economy. He signed laws that lowered taxes for businesses, arguing that this would help companies grow and create more jobs. Early in his term, the economy expanded, unemployment dropped, and the stock market reached record highs. Another major part of his agenda was immigration. He worked to strengthen border control and pushed forward the construction of a border wall. He also changed several immigration policies, which created both support and criticism nationwide. Trump also played an active role in foreign affairs. He met with leaders from North Korea to discuss nuclear weapons, made new trade agreements with countries like Canada and Mexico, and took strong positions on China and Iran. His decisions often made headlines and sparked discussions around the world. At home, Trump worked to change parts of the healthcare system, although not all of his proposals became law. His presidency also faced major challenges, including political conflicts and investigations. In 2019, he became the third president in American history to be impeached by the House of Representatives. However, the Senate did not remove him from office, allowing him to finish his term. As the 2020 election approached, Trump ran for a second term, this time against Joe Biden, a former vice president. The election was intense and emotional. When Biden won, many of Trump's supporters believed the election was unfair, despite no proven evidence of wrongdoing. This led to rising tensions that resulted in the January 6, 2021 incident at the U.S. Capitol, a deeply troubling moment in American history. On January 20th, 2021, Donald Trump left office, ending a presidency filled with both achievements and challenges. Now that we've covered Donald Trump's political journey and presidency, let's move to the final part, his life after the White House and the continued influence he has today. Stay with me for part 4. After leaving the White House in January 2021, Donald Trump stepped back into private life, but he did not disappear from public attention. In fact, his influence remained strong, and he continued to play a major role in political discussions across the United States. Returning to his properties, including his well-known residence at Mar-a-Lago in Florida, Trump resumed many activities related to business, public speaking, and political organizing. Although he was no longer president, he still held one of the largest groups of supporters in modern American history. People who believed in his message, his leadership style, and his vision for the country. Trump continued speaking at events, writing statements, and sharing his views about the direction of the nation. He made it clear that he was not finished with politics and that his influence would remain powerful. On the business side, Trump focused again on the Trump Organization, the company he built long before entering politics. The organization still manages a variety of properties, including golf courses, hotels, commercial buildings, and branded developments in different parts of the world. Some of these properties faced challenges during and after his presidency, but Trump remained committed to keeping his brand strong and recognizable. His name continued to attract attention, whether on buildings, in news headlines, or at major events. Even as political issues surrounded him, Donald Trump maintained his image as a businessman who believed in expanding opportunities and taking bold steps. At the same time, Trump's family continued playing important roles in both business and public life. His eldest children, Donald Trump Jr., Ivanka Trump, and Eric Trump, remained active in politics, media, and the Trump Organization. Tiffany Trump focused on her education and personal career, while Barron Trump continued his schooling. Trump often spoke proudly about his children and grandchildren, emphasizing the importance of family in his life. He enjoyed spending time with them, attending events together, and celebrating milestones. Despite the intense pressure of politics, family remained at the center of his personal world. Even though Donald Trump was no longer in office, conversations about whether he would run for president again continued to grow. Many people encouraged him to return to the political stage, believing that his leadership style was still needed. Trump himself suggested several times that he might run again in future elections. This possibility kept his supporters energized and his critics watchful, ensuring that he remained one of the most talked about figures in the country. Whether through speeches, interviews, or public statements, Trump maintained a strong presence and continued shaping political discussions. In addition to politics and business, Trump also faced several legal challenges and investigations after leaving office. These situations often made headlines and created debates across the country, but Trump handled them with his usual determination. He continued to speak confidently, stating that he believed the investigations were unfair or politically motivated. No matter how strong the pressure became, he stayed firm in his belief that he would overcome the challenges, just as he had done many times earlier in his life. Today, Donald Trump remains one of the most recognizable and influential individuals in the world. From real estate developer to television star, from businessman to president, his journey has been full of dramatic shifts and major achievements. Whether people admire him or disagree with him, almost everyone knows his name, his personality, and his impact on American society. His life story shows how far someone can go with determination, confidence, ambition, and a willingness to take risks. As he continues shaping conversations in business and politics, one thing is certain. Donald Trump is a figure whose legacy will be remembered for many years. And that brings us to the end of Donald Trump's life story. But his influence continues.